Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Dadas Show, coming to you from KBC Studios here in Nairobi. I'm your host, Ashiko Mbune. As always, Dadas Show aspires to promote the spirit of sisterhood and solidarity amongst the women of Kenya. And we do this by creating an open and a safe platform for women to discuss any and all issues pertaining to their health and well-being, their lifestyle and careers, their families, among other topics. We also take pride in having the conversations that matter, not only to women, but to society at large. Now, the long school holidays are here with us. This is a season that can be filled with both happiness, but can also be very overwhelming. The kids are home, the routines have been disrupted, and the pressure to keep everything running smoothly most often falls squarely on mothers. On today's conversation, we are talking about surviving the long school holidays with structure, sanity, and of course, support. And we will be joined by our team of experts who will help us understand what it takes to create structure, how to maintain peace of mind, and how to build the kind of support system that every single mother deserves. We will also talk about routines, how to manage help at home, and how to be able to find balance even when the days seem long and demanding. As always, we welcome you at home to take part and keep this conversation going on all social media platforms at KBC Channel 1. You can also reach us on Dadas Show KBC on Facebook, or you can reach me personally at Ashiko the host across all social media platforms. We look forward to hearing your thoughts, your feedback on this and any other episode that we have had. Remember to share, to like, to follow, and to subscribe. Before we get into today's conversation, let's take a look at the following feature.
As the school gates close, the home becomes a classroom, a playground, a dining hall, and sometimes a battlefield. Routines disappear, grocery bills double, housework increases, and pressure to keep children engaged, fed, safe, and entertained quietly settles on the person, mom. From early morning to late night, she wears many hats. She is a chef, preparing meals that never seem to last past lunchtime. She is a referee, breaking up fights over toys, TV remotes, and who gets the bigger slice of bread. She is a teacher, reminding children of their assignments, reading schedules, and holiday homework. And somewhere in between all of this, she is expected to remain calm, present, loving, and strong. But behind the smiles is a fatigue. Behind the laughter is overwhelm. Behind I am okay is a mother who hasn't rested, who hasn't had a quiet moment to herself, who wonders if she is doing enough. For single mothers, working mothers, and those without support at home, the challenge doubles. There are no shifts, no breaks, just long days that roll into even longer nights. Yet, within this chaos, there is opportunity, an opportunity to create memories, an opportunity to reconnect, an opportunity to teach values, life skills, and discipline beyond the classroom. By creating simple routine, morning chores, reading time, playtime, quiet time, the home can begin to feel stable again. By involving children in small responsibilities, they learn teamwork, empathy, and independence. By asking for help and accepting support, mothers learn that they don't have to carry the weight alone, because surviving the long school holidays is not about being perfect. It is about being intentional. It is about creating structure in the midst of disorder, choosing peace over pressure, and remembering that every mom deserves grace. This is not just a school break, it is a test of patience, a season of resilience, a reminder that behind every thriving child is a mother doing the best that she can, one long day at a time. Edna Murungi for Dadas Show.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is the topic of the day is surviving the long school holiday. And I know the children are at home, and I know so many mothers are keen. People have sat down with books. They want to learn what is happening because it's a moment where we've not been able to see the kids at home for a prolonged period, especially for those who are boarders the whole year round. But I think after week 3, most mothers are always like, where? Okay, so to help us discuss this topic and to be able to give us tools and tips how we can be able to survive this long school holiday is a psychologist, Victoria Kedemi. Right next to her, we've got the author of House Help Manual, A Practical Guide, Miss Betty Kilonzo. Now, I believe we've all been taken through character development with these house managers of ours. And every single time you think you've been able to crack it with one, she pulls for you a fast one and you sit thinking, oh my God. And I'm sure there are also house managers who are watching and they're like, why can't I get a good employee? Why can't I get somebody who can get along with? Mbona kila siku ni unajua madam anakuanga mtu wa kisirani etc. So this show is definitely here for you because those are two parts of the household, you know, the household and the manager and the mom who definitely need to be able to exist in cohesion. So she's the author of the House Help Manual, which is a practical guide which covers most of the topics that most of us would definitely need more information on. So thank you so much, Betty, for joining us. We really look forward to hearing your take on today's conversation and to tell us more about this book. So I also want to acknowledge my wonderful, wonderful, wonderful audience who take time to come and sit with us. I don't take you guys for granted one bit. You make time to come and sit with us as we discuss contentious issues that affect women. We support each other. We grow through communication. So I really do appreciate you. I also appreciate you at home who tunes into Dadas show every single week as we support women, as we conversate, as we learn, as we celebrate, as we also support each other through conversation. Asanteni sana. So to get the ball rolling, Victoria.
Yes.
You're a child psychologist, you're a psychologist, you are actually even in the teaching fraternity.
Yes, I was.
You know, from your experience, how do long school holidays, why do long school holidays feel especially overwhelming for many mothers?
And let me start by outlining the goal of parenting before I outline why mothers feel inept to face their children for that long. So the goal of parenting is to equip your child with a skill set that will see them through life. And then the goal is to have your child ready to leave your home at the right time. And so you see, they say you can't get lost if you don't know where you're going.
Yes.
So when you're working with the goal in mind, then the long school holiday should not scare you as a parent.
Yeah.
You'll be excited because then you have the time to equip your child with this skill set. What am I talking about? You know, values, beliefs. What does your child believe about themselves and the world? You know, what values does your child have? What have you put in them? Have you taught them to the life skills, to wash, to clean? Apart from themselves, you know, the area, the environment around them, you know, cooking, church, what do they believe? What is their faith? Do they, all this. And how we get this is that you see your child as a grown-up. It doesn't matter how old they are right now.
Yes.
They could be 2 months, 2 years, 7 years, 11 years, 18 years. See them as an adult. What kind of an adult do you want to see? So once you've seen that goal, then you start working backwards to where you are at, so that the school holidays can stop scaring the moms, because this is now an opportunity you have to equip them with that skill set, so that now when they're adults, then they can be ready to leave your home and be a success out there. So why are moms afraid, or why do they feel scared of these long holidays? Number one is the safety in the environment. I mean, as a country, we know that there isn't much safety. And we live in apartments, and we live in small spaces. And so if the child is going to play out there, how safe are they? How safe is my neighbor? You know, how safe is that other person that I see that I feel doesn't feel very safe for my child? So there's safety that scares the parents, because now you're going to be at work. And then there's all this time that this child has, you know, to keep themselves busy or entertain themselves. And then how are they entertaining themselves? Social media. that also scares the parent, because what is all this that this child is consuming?
Yes.
And then, as we know, I mean, we've had cases where children are befriending chat boxes and chat GPT. So when you see that, and as a parent, you're out there working, and you have to go to work.
Because, of course, them being in school, it feels like it's a controlled environment.
It's safe. Yes.
You know, you're like, there are teachers,
Yes.
there's the security.
Yes.
So you're like, okay, so you can actually be able to breathe a sigh of relief. But now they're at home.
Now they are at home. Because in school, the worst case scenario, what you'll hear is a broken hand, or they fail, or something.
They got into a fight, but there's definitely someone supervising.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's safe. You know, they are safe. But now at home, they are with maybe the nanny or the house manager. And you see, children have ways of just pushing boundaries. And they want to escape and go out there. And then, you know, then out there are substances. I mean, how do you keep that child away from substance abuse? Now that we have wines and spirits just next door.
Absolutely.
In some of the estates,
Yeah.
you know, it's not very controlled. So there's that. There's also the connection that the parent has with the child, the mother has with the child. And sometimes moms do a great job. And maybe we can just take a minute and appreciate the moms for what they do.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Because nobody tells the moms that they are doing a good job. Many a times they feel like, I am not enough, I am not doing very well, I should have done this. And nobody tells the mom, you're doing a good job. And they're out there doing all this. And I mean, yeah, they're moms.
They're moms.
They are moms. And so they will want, they are scared of what is going on in their home while they are out there, you know, looking for money, doing this, doing the other for their children. And then let's also talk about the connection. That is where
the
I was at.
connection,
The
yeah.
connection. Sometimes moms get lost in function and lose out on the connection. And both are important because a mom needs to function, you know, as a mom, provide and do all these things that she has to do.
Yes.
But then she also needs to connect with her child. Connection means that as a mom, I know my daughter, I know my son. So that when I'm out there, in my head, I know if there's anybody who's going to get into trouble that day, maybe not my daughter, but my son.
Yes.
He might be out there.
And it is knowing the true version, not the version that they normally want you to see.
No.
You know, because
Yes.
my son is very notorious for that, and I love this child with every fiber
Yes.
in me. But you know the way they have like a million feelings nowadays.
Yeah.
So he can be able to curate and say this and this and this. But
Yeah.
because I know him, I'm like, this guy is hoodwinking me. This guy is lying to
There
me
you
through
go.
his teeth.
There you go.
Yeah.
So it's having the function, yes, but as a mom, don't get lost in the function. Also, be connected to your child. Know them, know who they are. We say become a student of your child.
Yes.
So that by the time you're leaving that house, you've already told them, I do not want to hear this. Or if you do this, these are the consequences. Create boundaries around that child. And we say that connection corrects behavior more than correction.
Connection corrects behavior more than correction. Wow,
Yes.
that needs to be on a mug. Right? Or a thermos. There are many words, yeah? So, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yes.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yes.
So I can definitely see how that can be challenging, especially I think the point of security, you know, and what they are exposed to.
Yes.
If you're not scared of the neighborhood, you're scared of them falling in love with ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Or you're scared of them being on the internet.
Yes.
And I think you're scared of the control that you have, you know.
Yes.
And I think maybe we'll come back later and talk about when we're talking about surveillance and having CCTV in the
Yeah.
house. You know, do we go for it? Do we not go for it? But thank you so much for that. Now, Betty, based on your work, and of course, you have attributed a lot of the history of your book from your interactions with your house managers.
Yes.
So wewe ulilearn kutoka kwa ground kabisa.
Yeah.
So you're not coming here as a point of view as a mommy. No, you had from the other side, which I think is a very refreshing take. Yeah. What are some of the most common household management challenges that moms face when kids are at home for all those weeks?
Thank you. And Yeah, during like this long holiday, of course, it's the time management, right? The kids have a lot of time in the house, and you know, an idle mind is the devil's workshop.
True.
There's going to be a million cases.
Yeah.
And if you've got a house help, I like to refer to them as house helps, because the moms are the house managers. They are the ones who are delegating these duties. They are managing the house.
Another one. Because we're so politically correct nowadays.
No,
You call someone
yeah.
a house help, you call
Yeah.
someone a nanny. Someone says, that's not my name, a house manager. Carry on.
Yeah, and you know, like she said, you know, mothers, we can get lost in the function and we forget the connection. So why I call them house helps is because they are here to help me with the function so I can focus on the connection.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's the time management, of course. All these kids in there, the house help is also wondering, what do I do with them? You know, because if she's there, like her primary duty is the function, like we said, right?
Yeah.
When you're off at work, who is connecting with these children?
You
know? So now the house manager is also now has a second job of connecting with the children, which is actually not too much of her duties, because she needs to wake up and do all of these things.
The
and
chores
now,
that
yes,
they
the chores,
her JD.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then now she also needs to also find ways to entertain the kids and all of that. Now she's overwhelmed and everything, you know. So as a mother, you also have that. Secondly, we have, of course, the communication in the house, because you come back. Let me tell you, right now during the long holidays, in my house is never clean.
Yeah.
It's not like when they were in school,
because
when she wakes up in the morning, she sends the kids off to school. The school bus picks the kids and they are off, right?
Yeah.
And then she has away. I come back, my house is pristine, you know, because if she set the pillow this way, it's gonna be that way.
Because there was no one playing around
no
with
one
it.
was playing
Correct.
around. But I come back in the evening and it's like there's a cup there, there's a toy there, and you know, if there's no communication and understanding, you may think that she's slacking on her job, and now there's going to be conflict. You know, there's going to be a lot of misunderstanding. Also, she's burnt out, you know, the house help. And it's also your role as the house manager or as the mom or as the employer to know how to manage her rest days, because she has got more time to rest. Like in my household, my house help like from 2 to 3 to 4, because my kid comes back like around 4:45, right? 2, 3, 4, she's resting. When she wakes up, she does the laundry, she does the cleaning. By 2, she's done with her duties, she's resting. But now the kids are there. There's no resting.
There's no resting.
There's no resting. Yeah. So you have to delegate that. You have to issue nap times, because if the house help tells the kid, you have to have, let's say, during the day nap time, so that it can allow rest for both the kid and the house help. The kid may decide to be, who are you to tell me this? Which is even communication to the kids. You need to obey the house help when she's telling you these things. It's you as the mother who needs to communicate that, so that you can have a smooth household.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that. And I love how you've broken it down, that it breaks down between communication and time management, you know? If we're not communicating, and I've seen this happen so many times, if you're not communicating with respect, with regard towards your house help, then you get surprised that, you know, your young one, teen, preteen, teenager, is snapping at them. You can only imagine right now when they're home 24/7 what that is doing to the person. So thank you so much for that. Victoria, what are some of the practical routines that families can be able to establish to bring structure? Because we did discuss how mothers are going to be able to survive the long holidays with structure, sanity, and support.
As a mom, when you come and tell your children, depending on the ages, because now we are looking at different ages that the mothers will have. When you this age, the Gen Alpha, you don't come and tell them. You wake up at, and then you do, and then after that you do. They will not do it. They will not do it. And that will now leave the house help with more work of managing them, because they'll not obey. So communicate. And let it be known even to the house help that this is what is being planned for the holiday.
Absolutely.
So
make it a team thing.
Yes, it's a team thing. So that you're all working towards the same goal. So that you don't leave the house, and the minute you're out of that gate, she gives them the remote. To quieten them so that she can do other work. You know. So accept and agree, these are the ages that I have, and this is what we are going, and then collaborate with them. They all have a voice. And one of the things that I've seen in the family setup is that that comes from the colonialists, those years back, and how we were brought up is a child was there to be seen and never to be heard.
Yes.
But what
Yeah.
we know about this generation,
Oh.
you can't shut them up.
You can't.
You can't. They'll find a way to talk. And so when you shut them up, then they will be quiet in your eyes. It's the way we say, I am kneeling, but in my heart I am standing, you know. You know, because you made me kneel, I'll kneel.
Yeah.
But in my heart, I am standing.
Yes.
So collaborate with them.
Yeah.
Plan for the holiday with them. Let's agree, this is the time for, you know, TV and gadgets, that much time. That should be under two hours, especially for the little ones, because gadgets have a way of affecting the brain area
Yes.
that deals with language, you know. So this is what we are doing for 2 hours. After that, we will wash the house, you clean here, you clean there. We will have some time to read, then, you know, help, house help, somebody cook, or, you know, you can be washing the dishes, you know, bring them, everybody in, so that it's not you, mommy, saying, you do, and this one, and you do. That's over-controlling. And sometimes we think we are controlling things when we are holding them tight to ourselves, but actually we are not. We get control when we release.
Wow, thank you so much. I like what you've said. So there's no specific structure. What they need to be is collaboration and communication.
Collaboration.
Because households are
communication.
different either way.
Households are different, but remember the goal. As a mom, you're working with the goal in mind. Remember we said you can't get lost if you don't know where you're going.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you don't know what kind of adult you want to see in the 25 years as they leave your home, then what are you bringing up? You know. But if you're intentional about the kind of adult you want to see at that time, when they are leaving your home, to go and be useful in the society, because they can go and just be a misfit in the society, you know. And you see, this goes, it's full circle. At the end of the day, that misfit will still come back to your house.
We'll come back.
You know?
Yeah.
So when you have that goal, that's when now these holidays, as you're doing this collaboration and you're communicating with your children, because we have realized that you can't tell them, do, they won't. So as you're collaborating, they also feel they are being heard. You're also bringing in now diplomacy, conflict resolution, you know, you're bringing in problem solving, you know, what CBC is all about.
What CBC is all about.
All this teamwork. So they feel heard, they feel part of what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's not just about you.
Backing orders.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's about us as a family. I mean, you have movie time, you have vacation time. When can we go? So that they'll tell you, oh, Mom, I can't go because I have this VBS that I'm going for. And parents should take advantage of these church programs that are put, you know.
I want to move on to some, you know, something, you know, I want to give us a little bit more information about this particular book, because, like I said, it's almost the first of its kind. And in majority, if not 90% of the households, we depend on the house helps. You know, what, tell us a little bit more about this book. What brought it forth? What was the inspiration and, yeah, that this book brings, and why should every single mother have it?
Well, okay, so two things. First, I was a flight attendant for like 4 years.
Yeah.
And in the flight, we had a cabin crew manual.
Yeah.
Every flight attendant has one. It's just, it's a book which has all the things you need to do in the aircraft, your duties, your responsibility, your relationship with the passers, with the flight deck, with the passengers, literally just everything about the job. And that is a requirement for you to carry in every flight when you're going. It's like your passport. You cannot board your aircraft without that cabin crew manual. And that manual holds you responsible. It makes you accountable. It reminds you, it does everything. And so being a flight attendant for 4 years and having that manual really helped me, because I just found myself in the aircraft, and but that manual really helped me so much, because I could go through it. If there's anything about first aid, I had it to refer to.
So you had a Mwakenya to your
Yes,
career.
yes. So now coming back to my house help, right?
Yes.
I've had quite many experiences with house helps. I'm telling you, there are times which I even like employ one, and in 1 month she's gone. Another one, 2 months she's gone. So, and we as employers, we live in guilt.
Yeah.
All the time we live in guilt because we don't want to see these people as if they are lesser beings. And the fact that they just the domestic work, it has not really been professionalized the way it's supposed to be. So people come there with these share stories and we feel like we are mistreating them. So we want to be nice to them. And then you are nice to them, then they do things to you and now you are left flabbergasted. And I remember I was onboarding a new house help.
Yes.
And I had to learn the hard way. You know, you onboard the wrong way, they do things to you, you learn. You onboard another one, they do another
so
thing.
It has been
learn.
trial and error. This is from
and
experience.
error, because nobody teaches you
Yes.
how to onboard. Nobody teaches you. Nobody tells you this is the right house help. You can't know because there are people and they have personalities.
Yes.
And everybody is just different.
Yeah.
So I remember I was onboarding a house help. I had stayed with a house help for 1 year.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you that has been like the longest I've ever stayed with a house help.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
I met a lady who had stayed with a house help for 19 years and I was impressed. Like, how did you do it? You know? So I had this one for 1 year and she taught me a lot. She taught, through her I learned a lot. So when she left, peacefully, by the way, I may proudly say, no drama. There was a party, there was everything. I was like, oh, I'm such a good boss when she was leaving. So, yeah, I mean, it was a whole revelation for me, you know. So when she left, now I was dreading onboarding a new one.
A new one.
Because I had a
You'll
good one.
compare, yeah.
I had a good one. How do I know the next one is going to be good? I don't want to go back. It's like when you were finally happy in a relationship and now you're back in the streets and now you have to start all over again.
You're back in the streets.
Yeah. So when I was onboarding this new house help, I just kept thinking to myself, oh my goodness, I just wish there was a manual, like the one we had in the aircraft, that I could just give them. So you don't tell me you forgot, you don't tell, because even them, who has trained them? You know, I know there are bureaus and there are places where house helps get trained, but how many of us get house helps from those bureaus?
Yeah.
You know, because how many of us? Wow. We go down to the village to people we trust. You know, you tell your mom, hey, nitafutie msichana.
Nitafutie, actually, that's normally the line. So what you're saying is it was based off the need.
Yes, the need.
You know? Yeah.
And I kept saying, I wish there was a manual. Goodness. I even Googled, is there a house help manual? You know, somebody has written it and maybe it's not famous, you know, somewhere. There was nothing.
There was nothing.
So and then I remembered, I am a writer.
Yes.
Why can't I write the book myself?
Excellent.
And the first version of it actually was only 25 pages long. And it was fashioned for my house. Actually, the part where I say, do this with the child, it was my child's name. I was like, wake up, feed Marvel. It was not feed the child, it was feed Marvel, prepare Marvel for school. So it was fashioned for my house. Yeah. And then I presented it to my house help, and I'm telling you, in 2 weeks, the difference was so big. Even when visitors came to my house, they were like, wow, your house help is so professional and everything. How did you train? How did you do this?
So we're going to take a short break and then we'll be back right after the break. I really hope that moms are looking at it and thinking, hey, perhaps this may actually be my solution for the long holidays. But we'll come back in a short while. Don't go far away. Welcome back. Remember, today's conversation is about how to survive the long holidays with definitely special attention towards mums. Because, you know, the mums are the ones who are carrying the household. So if mom is not okay, then the household is definitely not going to be okay. We've had the privilege of interacting with our wonderful panelists, Victoria and Betty. Betty has, I think this is the Mwakenya. Mwakenya for nini. We like to find, we can't get a manual for life, let's just get a manual for house helps. You know, we are figuring this thing out one manual at a time. So thank you so much, and I definitely hope that it's helping as many people and it's illuminating conversations the way it has. So let's get into our question and answer session. And our first question or comment is from Madam Rachel. Rachel, karibu sana.
Thank you so much, Ashiko. I love this conversation. Indeed, it's very enriching, and I'm hoping very many mothers out there are being helped. And at this very time, when you talk about the long holidays, it's very easy for mothers to be overwhelmed and to have burnout. Some of the symptoms maybe to look out for as a mom is irritability, Sometimes you get so irritable, easily annoyed, lack of patience, even with your child, even to your spouse at this very time, because you've just burnt out. You've been doing too much. There's so many other responsibilities you're balancing beyond just your children. There's also that bit of fatigue, lack of sleep, because there's so much again to worry about. You're thinking about this and the other. So those are some of the symptoms of burnout, and we really need to be very, very keen about. But we can easily try to manage this by taking small breaks as a mother, knowing that a break is okay. I can also delegate some of the responsibilities. For those that have older children, you don't have to do everything. And don't look for perfection. Just look for a way to delegate and get a support system. For the older children, they can support you. Let them help you do 1, 2, 3 things. Lower the bar. You don't have to expect too much for your children. They also need to be children, even during the holiday. Just give them patience. When the surfaces and the compound is not neat, just lower the bar. And that way you're easily able to maneuver through and also enjoy your moment with the children. Connect, as our panelists have told us, not just at the function. We don't just get a lot of at the function, because that's where fatigue and overwhelm comes in. Sometimes you also need to also step out, have our time, our moms out, connect with other mothers out there, take care of yourself, have a tea somewhere, and just take that break. It's not every time that children just have to be around. You can also say, this is mommy's time, and it's going to be very helpful. Yeah. Thank you.
I feel like we need to give her a round of applause. Rachel, thank you so much for how you've broken it down, even from the signs. We're definitely going to get to that. What are some of the signs of burnout? Because I think most of us, many of us, especially in African homes, can attest to you grew up na mama alikuwa mkali sana. But now as mothers, you're like, perhaps she was just tired. Perhaps she was just burnt out. She has to manage this, she has to manage this. Thank you so much for showing us what we need to be looking out for. So if you're at home and you're feeling like everyone is getting under your skin, the kids are driving you nuts, you're constantly shouting, you're very irritable, you might be suffering from burnout. And please don't look for nilikuwa ninalima shamba. Burnout is not so much physical as it is psychological, And I like what you've talked about, delegating and not looking for perfection. And then that one you were talking to me. I've got any way of I like my things happening. And I think it got to a point where my son would find it very unbearable to actually be around me. And I had to do introspection is so important, and self-awareness, to ask, why do I need everything to look in a certain manner? Why do I need it to look like this? And of course, that opened up, layers and layers and layers. But definitely we're in a place right now that I have to check myself and say, okay, so the dishes have not been done by 8 a.m. It's not the end of the world. Siati kukona mende, So thank you so much. I think that has really, 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 really added a lot of value to our conversation today. And I'm sure my panelists agree. Let's move on to our next question or comment. And this is from Sue. Sue, karibu sana.
Thank you very much. I think I want to take something from what Rachel has said about lowering your expectations. Even with the nannies, we need to lower our expectations. When I was a little younger, in my 30s, I would complain about workers. But there's something my father told me and my mom. You expect this person, this lady or this gentleman to be at your standard. If he or she was at your standard, he or she would be working in a bank. So, take them as they are. And as I think Victoria had mentioned, that when you come from work and you find things around, don't say that the nanny was irresponsible or is not doing her work well. Because even when you are in the house with those kids, that's what happens. My parents, there's a worker we had for almost 30 years. She was the nanny to my sister and the nanny to my sister's baby. And my sister was 30 plus when she had her baby. And she's now on her second nanny. And they are now we are now 6 years. And it's from that lesson of structure your nanny's day, structure your children's days, let your children also do support. And then as even if they're not perfect, because they cannot be like Ashiko, it cannot be, there's a difference. You're also not perfect. Yeah. And then also another thing was talking. Quarreling. It's irritating. And one thing which also my mom taught us is that nanny is a mother too. The way you're thinking about school fees, the way you're thinking about your child is the same way she's struggling with it. But she's here taking care of your kids. So you have to be patient. You have to be tolerant. If you can, help them with fees. So that she's at peace. My child is in school. I'll also take care of mama's children. Wow. Yeah, so that has made it easy. When the nanny is going for leave, she goes very well. We pay her transport. She'll come back with her bananas, washes, and there's never a worry when she's going. Yeah, but then again, it's also a miracle. Also, it is also a miracle.
Let us also point that out. It is also a miracle. But I hear what you're saying, and I think it's fantastic. I really, really, truly appreciate. Let's move to the next one. Question or comment from Mercy.
My question is to Victoria on how do you manage chores and responsibilities, especially when the children are growing, so that you start to create dependence on themselves, so that as they are growing into adults, you don't end up having children that are irresponsible or children that are not able to cater to even the smallest activities in their lives. Yes, I think that would be my question.
Yeah.
So long as you're alive and that child is alive, you can always try to undo some of the messes. Because that is what we are always doing. Because when you become a new mom, there's little much about mothering. But you go making mistakes and learning from them. So it can always be undone, but needs more patience and acceptance of who you have created and what you want to see at the end of the goal. And so the chores, the children always want to do something.
Yes.
From when they are young. They'll be asking, oh, mommy, I cut. And you're like, oh, no, this knife is going to cut you. No, wait until you're old, And then we shoo them away. Yeah. But when they're asking, allow them. Mine, I would give a blunt, the butter knife.
Yeah, the one
to
that
cut.
Out, yeah.
Yes, that's what I would give. So they're struggling to cut tomatoes, and of course it's not cutting, and then they start complaining, how come your knife is cutting and mine is not cutting? Yeah. So allow those chores slowly by slowly. But we also need to heal as moms. We grew up doing those chores, extra plus when we were growing up. And so as adults and as a mom, I don't want to see my children doing the same thing.
Facts.
I think, you know what, since now I have the money to get this person to do those chores, while my children just grow up, then house help do the chores, my kids grow up. But then 25-year-old will find themselves. There's one that was almost unaliving himself because he couldn't iron. So he was called for an interview, and then he has this creased shirt. And he's looking at it, he's shaking it to try and see whether the creases will come out.
Working? How do they do this?
Exactly. And he was like, so how do I go for the interview? I can't go with this. Yeah. And he was so frustrated with himself that at the point, somebody else walked in and was like, don't do it. I mean, there's a way we can do this.
Oh,
and knowing how mental health is really wanting for the Gen Alpha and the Gen Z, then we are at that place where we need to teach them how to live this life away from us and successfully without them feeling like they're failures. Because we didn't even allow them to solve their own small problems. I mean, somebody falls with a bicycle, maybe they've not been hurt, or maybe they are hurt and you're there, you say, sorry, you know what, we continue. But what did we go there and we're like, oh, now this bicycle is bad. So what have you put in your child's mind?
This bicycle is bad.
It's bad. So next time, they'll be averse. And now as grown-up men and women, they'll be risk averse. And anything that looks risky, they run. And then now they'll be very inept adults who will be wanting and who will be wounded and unable to even make decisions like you're saying. On Sunday, they're supposed to pick clothes for themselves to go to church with, maybe, for example, if the family goes to church. But what do we do as moms?
We pick.
Yes.
Oh, we pick the clothes.
No, you can't.
I am so guilty.
I was too until I learned that the minute I don't allow my 2-year-old, 5-year-old, 12-year-old to pick their clothes, now it becomes about me. Because mine, I would say, because they would want to wear these clothes. And I'm thinking, hey, look at me. Mommy is going to church looking very smart. Why do you want to wear those clothes that make me look like I'm not taking care of you?
I know.
You know?
It makes a lot of sense why we need to pick their clothes. You're walking around and someone looks like a clown.
Exactly. For me, I would say it look like people who are homeless. And
Yeah.
God. But you see, now it becomes about me. It's no longer about the child.
yeah.
It's about my image. So what have I done to the decision making of this child? I've killed it. Wow. I've killed it.
Wow.
So now when they're adults and they're not making decisions, I'm there asking, why can't you, why? But that is what I trained.
So how do we fix this? Because I think this one you're talking to me personally.
Equip yourself as a mom.
Yeah.
Agree and accept that, you know what, you're a mom, you're a nurturer, but there's a lot of knowledge and information you may not have about being a mom. Go to class. There are classes for big moms. I realized that I was losing something. I was losing that connection. And so I needed somebody to tell me, how do I mother a son, you know, at that age? And I got a lot of lessons from there. So moms need awareness. They need to put themselves out there for the classes, you know, that are offering these things. And we have ChatGPT anyway. But we also help the moms as well.
Absolutely. We love ChatGPT when it's being beneficial to us.
Very true.
So thank you so much. So you're talking about when they're younger, include them.
Even as they grow older.
Yeah, and as they grow older.
Include them.
Yeah.
Let them solve their own age-appropriate problems.
Wow.
Don't do everything for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. So these school holidays, if the child wants to, I like, there's a parent, I think, and I think she's called Mama Olive or something, you know. I love how she gets her children involved in everything. There was a time they were making pancakes and you could see the young girl, she broke the egg and it had shells inside, and I'm already cringing just watch, and you could see her fighting the urge to just say stop, but she let it happen. And of course now next time the butter is not going to have any shells.
True.
The next time it's going to be perfection. So kudos. There are people who are really, you know, they've cracked it. Yeah, so our next question is from Maureen. Maureen, karibu sana.
Thank you very much for this opportunity, and thank you very much for being here. My question is to Betty. It's about our house helps. Given the fact that this holiday we have to work, we are not on holiday, it's the children who are on holiday. Apart from the training that you've talked about, first aid, firefighting, what other training are we going to give, can we give them so that they can also be able to connect to our children? Because remember, when we are not there, they are our eyes and our ears.
During this holiday season, there's a lot of work in there. I don't know if there's space for someone to go out there and do the trainings or whatnot. I feel like when the kids are in school, that is at least that's how I do it.
Yeah.
When the kids are in school, that is when there's a little bit of free time. They can go maybe like a tailoring course or the house help that we parted ways very nicely, the one that she stayed with me for a year. And honestly, I don't stay with house helps for long because I'm all for empowerment. You know, she came in and she had interest in doing nails. So during maybe like the few hours, the 2 hours, she would go to a salon, a local salon, and she would get trained. Now she does very wonderful nails. She knows how to do everything, you know. So if you're paying them properly, that is also empowering them. They can save up and they can go back to school. If they wanted to go back to school, they can do all of these things. So my house help, that is what she did. She used to go there and she used to get trained. She learned how to do nails. In 1 year, she had already saved up and she has now opened up her own small boutique. She does house calls sometimes. Sometimes she even comes and visits me and she does my nails. Yeah, so that is one way that you can empower them. Yeah, but I was understanding in the form of like right now when the kids are around, how we can help them also relax better. Also respecting their off days. Some people don't respect their house helps and their off days. It's someone's off day and you don't even want them to go for off, or you keep calling them, hey, and you are disrupting their day. Just give them their time when it's during the off day. Also the communication and the relationship there. Make sure that your children know that this house help, you know, she's also part of the family. Let her be respected, first of all, as an adult. let your children learn how to respect adults, you know. Yeah, so when there's that relationship, it's going to be easier for them. There's not going, and responsibilities also. When you come and find a toy lying around, instead of going to yell at the house help, why don't you ask the kid responsible for that toy why that toy has not been put in the right place, you know? So during things like this, they are going to do away with all of this burnout thing and all of this aggression. Because imagine you're a house help and a kid maybe dropped a toy and then the mommy is coming now to yell at you. You know, first of all, the kid is going to grow up not knowing how to be accountable for their own actions.
For their own actions.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, Betty, for that. We really, you know, thank you. And I hope your question has been answered. I do believe, but you know, still on the same wavelength, Victoria, what are some of the things that employers can actually do to empower their house managers?
Yeah. Like Betty has said, one, find out what they are good at.
Exactly.
You know, and then empower them that way. And now we have online classes. And so even if they're at home, they can still go through their classes when they're at home, or if they have to go to class, then maybe when school's open, they can do that. Then respect them and treat them well, and pay them well. And then also let me say at that point that the caregiver that you get for your children actually bonds with your children.
Absolutely.
And as a teacher, I saw children come to class you know, in grief because the house help they loved left. And so this person in your house is not just helping you do the chores. They're also helping you raise your child, and they bond and connect with this child. So treat them well, and also bring them into the family where the children are concerned and where your vision is concerned, and your goal. What you want to see in your adult child in the many years to come. This house help will have some input in that.
They can tie into the vision that you have.
Yes.
Excellent.
But they have to know it.
But they have to know
They have to know it, and you also have to empower them in the terms that let your children know that this is an adult that is taking care of you, that requires you to respect them. She's like a third parent, only that you don't call them a parent.
Yes.
Because when you're not there, actually they spend more time sometimes.
They actually
children.
really do spend more time with the children.
Yes.
Thank you so much for that, Victoria.
Yes.
And finally, our question or comment is from Gloria. Gloria, karibu sana.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. My question is to Betty. How can mothers plan in advance in preparation for the coming holidays where kids are at home?
Thank you, Gloria, for your question. So it's different for every household, depending with the schedule of the parent and also the kids. First of all, you can plan for basics. Let's do the basics. The basics is finishing the assignments, the revisions, all of that. And then some parents decide that kids go to the village, some plan for vacations. So it's different for every household, that's what I will say. And it's also different every year, you know. So that is what I would say. So I would say, do what works for you. There's no standard way in which you can plan. Do what works. This is life. You could have planned for a vacation, but then something happens and it doesn't happen, you know. So like we said, do not aim at perfection. It's going to stress you out. Just live life. Flow. Just try to go through every day, every month, every week. Just
as it comes.
As it comes. As it comes. Flow with it. Flow with
like
it.
the house help manual, life does not have one.
Yes. Yes. That's where the manual ends at that.
Where it ends. Okay, so let's rephrase it and say, how can you mentally prepare so that when it comes to holidays, because we've seen it and we are women, you see how people running headless chicken, and you're thinking, nika huko unajua. Of course, I like what she's talked about, the basics. Yeah. So how do you mentally prepare for that before we close?
Yeah. So failing to plan is planning to fail.
Absolutely.
You knew those 2 months were coming, so you should have. I mean, as a mom, prepare yourself mentally for that. And include these children because they know what it is that they want to do. The VBSs, you know, the vocational Bible studies, the camps, you know, the chores that you need. And remember the goal. So with that in mind, have a positive mindset about this preparation, so that you're not preparing for it with the teachers have had something else to do with them in school, you know. And then look for camps where these children can go to because they are there. Apart from that, your holiday, instead of taking it bits and pieces throughout the year, you can take it towards the end of the holiday. I mean, the end of the year, so that you have time to sit there with your children, actually experience what the house help experience is when you're not there. And then as you're there with them, you're able now to talk, and you've been talking throughout the year with all that are involved in this collaboration, so that you're not there planning things by yourself and telling them what to do. You have
Yes.
planned it together.
Wow.
Yeah.
If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Kusha. We have definitely come to the end of a very insightful, illuminating conversation. And I'm hoping that moms out there have been able to learn a thing or 10 from our conversation today. I would really want to point out what Rachel talked about, burnout. Please notice the signs. Please be gentle to yourself. There is nothing like perfection. You know, so perfection does not exist in the household. So be compassionate with yourself, be compassionate with your children, be compassionate even with the people who are coming in to help you. Love yourself. There is no manual for motherhood. Do what you can, and then the rest, we leave it to God. So on behalf of the production team at KBC, of course, my wonderful panel and audiences here in studio, and of course, you at home, I want to thank you so, so much for tuning in. And I hope you enjoy your holidays, and you enjoy spending time with your children. I will catch you same time next week. But for now, goodbye.